Thank you, Deputy Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to say a few things. I have a few grievances that I wish to put out here or talk about. But first, Deputy Speaker, I just want to point out, for the benefit of our people and for the media to take note, that a large number of our members of parliament are involved in election petitions and have been required to turn up at court even during parliament sessions. And so a large number of them are not present. So in case the people or the media report that their members of parliament are not present, the fact of the matter is they have been taken away and are attending this court matter. So I want to make this point so that it can be reported and clarified so that our people know that we are actually attending to our duties and responsibilities. That is one point I wanted to make here on behalf of myself and all my other colleagues who are attending this election petition matters. The other issue that I wish to raise, and I want to have the Minister for Lands take note of, is an incident that occurred, which has been reported on one of our dailies in regards to a policeman that has been shot during an eviction exercise that took place in Port Moresby or in NCDC. And I just wish to make a few points about this. This incident should not have happened if the responsible department was actually performing its duties to manage this very vital asset, land, for which it is responsible, especially state land, but it also is responsible for traditional land, but more so state land, of which apparently in Papua New Guinea, depending on what statistics you read, there's between 10–15% that's available as state land for investors and for government business and so forth, henceforth. But I'd like to point out that the Department of Lands has not been doing a great job at managing this very important asset. As a result, you'll see that a lot of this land has been illegally occupied by our own citizens in many instances who are traveling into our urban areas because of urban drift. And that's an issue that we need to resolve. Why is there such a thing happening? Urban drift, what's going on there? We need to understand this and take counteractive measures, but also land grabbing. Now, some instances where there is genuine investor involvement, where genuine investors are involved in taking up land, state land for development purposes, well, we have no problem with this. I particularly have no problem with this, and I believe that none of my colleagues here, in fact, any law-abiding person would have no problem with this. If they're following the laws that strictly dictate how they should be performing in acquiring land, developing that land. If it's an individual, then obviously for what purposes? If it's a company, is it a legitimate company, registered for tax purposes, registered with the IPA? And how has it been performing as a company? Is it an established company? Is it a genuine company? And here's the issue, Minister for Lands. And in fact, I'd like the Minister for Trade or Commerce and Industry to also take note, because a particular department which he oversees in his ministry, the Investment Promotion Authority, is responsible in this instance. There are a number of companies that are not genuine in how they're operating in our country. They are using Papua New Guineans as fronts. And a number of companies these particular type of companies have gone out and illegally obtained land for whatever reason or purpose. But the fact that they are using these companies as fronts, as PNG companies, is what we need to be concerned about. Because by doing so, one, they are avoiding certain taxes, and two, they are actually engaging in fraud. Many times, Papua New Guineans, we are our own worst enemies, to be honest, are put as directors and shareholders. But the details are in the bank account details. Are they bank account signatories? What's happening with these bank accounts for these companies? Because although they might be listed as directors and shareholders, the fact of the matter is that the bank account details will tell you who are the real owners of this company. And under the pretext of being a Papua New Guinean company and therefore enjoying certain tax benefits, they're able to carry out these activities. And one of those activities is land grabbing. So there's now significant reports coming out on social media, so it has to be verified because, as we all know, not everything on social media can be trusted, but increasingly so print media. Can we review this information that's coming out? Companies have been named, individuals have been named, and an investigation needs to be undertaken by both your departments, including the police, because this is a matter of fraud. They should be especially interested now that one of their own has been shot while executing his duties. Is this company a genuine investor? Are these Papua New Guinean shareholders and directors also signatories to the bank account and therefore the actual dealings of that company? That's what needs to be investigated. As chairman of the Special Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reforms, I will be issuing letters to the heads of your departments and asking them what they're going to do about this particular instance or with this particular situation. But it's happening throughout the country. And it's not just foreign companies that are doing it, it's also Papua New Guinean companies that are using France to go out and grab land. This does not excuse the people who are unlawfully squatting on that land. That in itself is also, what they're doing is illegal and in breach of various laws. But it also highlights the fact that the Lands Department is failing to manage this very vital asset. I want to commend you, Deputy Prime Minister. You have done a magnificent job through you, Deputy Speaker. But I would like you to also have a look at an IT system that was developed for lands, which cost this country, I think, more than 40 million kina. That in itself was a scam, by the way, and should be investigated. At a cost of 40 million kina for such a system, you would think we would have a very effective asset management mechanism in place to prevent these type of things from happening. So that's my concern about this particular grievance. In regards to the matter of the IPA, Deputy Speaker, the IPA has become a mere rubber stamp, inviting anyone and everyone into this country and registering anyone who wants to do whatever type of business in here. All these government departments, entities, etc., have a responsibility to protecting the economy of this nation and the interests of our people and citizens. And they have a vital role to play as enforcers of the laws that they are supposed to be administrating. Oftentimes, we are always blaming the police for not doing their job, or not doing enough, or not doing it properly. But the fact of the matter is that many of these government departments are simply not stepping up and doing their jobs. So in the instance of IPA, they are not doing a survey of companies operating in this country to see if they are actually sticking to what they had said they would do in terms of business in this country. Many of them come in to do a particular business, suddenly they're in another part of the country doing something completely different from what they said they would be doing. Many of them are using fronts. They use Papua New Guineans as fronts while they're carrying on businesses and avoiding certain taxes because they are deemed to be PNG companies. The IPA cannot just be a rubber stamp. It must vigorously protect the interests of Papua New Guineans and Papua New Guinea. So those are my grievances in regards to this particular matter. And I thought I would just share them with the House. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.